Good evening, and thank you for joining us. We're going to begin tonight with an alarming increase in coronavirus cases across nearly half of the country, including in two of America's largest states. Texas and Florida are now seeing their highest number of new cases since the pandemic began, even as they push forward with reopening. Officials in Houston say the area is nearing a disaster and that they may need to use NRG Arena as a temporary hospital because of a record increase in infections. Tonight, the CDC is warning the death toll from the virus could reach 140,000 by July 4th, and so it's issuing new guidance, including for organizers of large gatherings. After 2 weeks of nationwide protests, the Centers for Disease Control now says anyone attending large gatherings, especially ones that include shouting, chanting, and singing, should wear a face mask. Now, those new recommendations come as the president is heading to West Point tomorrow to deliver a commencement address to more than 1,000 cadets, and just as he's planning to start holding rallies again next week. As President Trump's urging, the Republican Party is also ditching its plan to hold this year's convention in North Carolina due to restrictions the governor there has placed on large gatherings. The president will now accept his party's presidential nomination in Jacksonville, Florida, where he's expected to speak to a crowd as big as 15,000 people in an indoor arena. There's a lot of news to get to tonight, and our team of correspondents is standing by to cover it all. CBS's Janet Shamlian is going to lead off our coverage tonight from Houston. Janet?
Nora, Houston opened to 75% today, as did all of Texas, but it might not last. Officials in this region are cautioning that they may need to order people back home and order this building, NRG Arena, which is next to Houston's football stadium, as a COVID hospital as cases surge in the nation's fourth largest city.
A dire warning tonight amid a record week for COVID-19 cases in the Houston area and across Texas.
I'm growing increasingly concerned that we may be approaching the precipice of a disaster.
The outbreaks come as restaurants like the Dunlady reopen to 75% capacity.
We're able to now have parties of 10.
But restarting the economy is taking its toll, says Lena Hidalgo, the top elected official for 5 million people in Harris County, which includes Houston.
We've had the highest hospitalization number this Monday. It's only grown from there. The numbers we're seeing are very significant.
14 states have seen a spike in coronavirus hospitalization since Memorial Day, and the death toll is now expected to reach almost 170,000 by October, more than 50,000 additional deaths over the next few months.
We've already uncorked the genie. We got our wish, which was to end the home quarantine orders, and now we're seeing people treat that as if COVID-19 is no longer an issue, and that's far from the fact.
The CDC spoke publicly with its first telebriefing in 3 months today, issuing guidelines which include bringing your own food and drinks to a cookout, waving at people instead of hugging, sanitizing hands after using an ATM, and taking the stairs instead of a hotel elevator. It comes as Florida reported its biggest one-day jump in cases today and a record high number in South Carolina this week.
Oregon and Utah now delaying their openings a week after cases there continue to surge. And in the race for a vaccine, Johnson & Johnson today announced it's moving up human trials set for the fall to July. And those new CDC guidelines today, they call for wearing a mask in all large gatherings. Tonight here in Houston, we're at what's called a code orange. That's an uncontrolled transmission of the infection. The hospitals still have room right now, Nora, but they may not for long. Nora.
Janet Shamlian in Houston tonight. Thank you.